Right, welcome back to Morning Live. And as I told you earlier, before you took a break, Captain himself is in the building, Captain Iain. And he wants to talk about so many things affecting the aviation industry in the world and, of course, right here in the country. You can keep this conversation on fire by tweeting us on Switch TV KE. That is on Twitter, of course, Facebook. You can actually get in touch with us. SMS lines always open 24 hours, 365, 22299. Tell us what you think. The inspirational angle will also be touched right here in this segment. So, karibu sana bwana Iain.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Good to see you, man.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah?
They won.
I tell you.
They won you on the show. Now it's now around this 365, my friend.
And I am so proud of what is
Good
happening.
to see you, bro. Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you
the
too,
growth is very steady.
Fantastic.
The carbs are very steady.
Great.
And we're doing great things, trust me.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
you look so much healthier.
I know. I don't know what was happening to me that time.
But good to see
I think
you.
the pressure. The pressure.
I tell you.
Thanks so much.
Wonderful.
And then working out also, bro.
Amazing.
Very important.
Very important, yeah.
Very important. Do you work out?
Every time. I play basketball.
Oh.
I do some weightlifting at
Okay.
times. Do lots of push-ups in the mornings. I'll
stuff.
actually give you my schedule.
Good
because
stuff,
it's
man.
very important to keep yourself, healthy both mentally and physically.
Good
It
stuff,
helps,
bro.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
stuff, bro.
I tell you.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Sad news, man. All around, man. Aviation industry.
It-
Now it's kind of instilling fear in people, bro.
Let me start by saying, the aviation industry has been known to be, the safest mode of transport. And let no one fear that things are going to go wrong, as they fly. Obviously, it's that phobia because things are happening just like road accidents. When you hear 3 matatus have gone, have crashed, and then you start getting scared of them again. But let me say something. It's unfortunate that they have had to happen. Right now, we are at 3 so far. The ones that we know in at least Eastern Africa, Kenya and Ethiopia, affecting, because it was flying to Kenya, it really affected us, and it had 32 Kenyans on board. That was very sad. So if I can look at them and I can say, I know a lot of people are thinking about foul play in this Ethiopian crash. Okay. From a professional point of view, I tend to think there was a technical problem. Okay. I'll not rule out anything. We'll wait for investigations, and this is my own personal opinion. I think something went wrong, because if it was sabotage or something, there was a bomb on board, the pilot will not have been able to call the tower back and say, listen, I have a problem, I'm turning back. So it was, I think, as a personal and professional opinion, that something went horribly wrong.
Absolutely.
Then it's connected to the Indonesian crash of Lion Air.
737 MAX.
737 MAX, same type. So here we lost 189 on the Lion Air. Now we've lost 157 on this one. Very sad. Now, I know a lot of people are like, is there a problem on the 737 MAX? But if I again look at those two incidents, the Lion Air had the guys had reported, the crew who had flown that plane before had reported a problem in one of the sensors, and they were getting wrong readings. Now, when you get that particular sensor called the angle of attack sensor, if you get a wrong reading, the airplane just, it dives because it thinks the plane is stalling, it's losing lift. And they fixed it, but again, there were more errors coming on the airspeeds, and, the crash happened. But this one is interesting because it flew from South Africa, and it was just on ground for 3 hours. When it went and came back, there was no reported technical problem. So it's really makes me wonder what really went wrong here.
I understand during takeoff there's some sort of degrees you have to really adhere to.
Absolutely.
And of course around 15, 20 degrees. But you see, was it, I understand Addis Ababa as an airport is kind of hot, and of course one of the hardest airports actually during takeoff is kind of tricky. But during takeoff, it's a very rare incident because we've had runway excursions and all those things, but during takeoff, a 737 MAX, only 6 months old, 4 months old, something like that.
Exactly.
Crashing just after takeoff. Now you've added something from South Africa, landed well, no issue reported.
Not at all.
Yeah. Do you think maybe there's a problem with the Boeing itself?
Boeing has a great history with aircrafts from 747s. They started 707, 717, 727s, now 737s, which are now the ones which are very current and being worked on. They have a great history with aircrafts, and there's small technical problems they've had, and issues were not that big. Battery issues, some small systems issues, but I know on my seat, as I look at it, It might be a combination of things. Now, I've been to Bole International, and yes, it's very terraneous. Wow, and
Wow,
then it's high in
serious.
elevation.
It's so elevation,
It's
so
it's
high.
it's
Yeah.
higher than Eldoret.
Yeah.
And
Wow,
Eldoret
wow.
to us is actually a very very high
fact, yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
elevation
Altitude,
airport.
yeah, sure.
And I've always, when I've been there, I think I've flown there twice in Bole, and I look at the takeoffs and landings. The aircraft is meant for such. When I look at both Boeing and Airbus, their rates of climbs are amazing. The angle of attacks, they're always very clear
Yeah.
of these terraneous areas. But yes, when things go wrong,
I know.
when things go wrong with that
Sometimes-
terrain, things can go,
Yeah, it's
Goes crazy.
the elevation is crazy. Now,
Yes.
something else is we had a problem with even the 787. The battery had a problem for so long.
Yeah.
Now, Kenya Airways also got the Dreamliners
Yes.
also on board. But you see, when you have these problems, don't you think it's a high time manufacturers like Airbus, Boeing, and all this Embraer, do you think it's a high time that they should actually now have thorough tests on their planes before now kind of releasing these planes to clients or something like that? Because now you're seeing battery, we're seeing sensor problems, we're seeing so many things. Lion Air, they reported yes, but still 737 MAX.
Yes.
Don't you think they should have these thorough tests? Yes, they have the test flights, Ian, but what's happening, man?
Nick, I have to say this, huh? In aviation, we say, and it's so unfortunate, it's a very sad statement.
Yeah.
I'm not very proud of saying it, but unfortunately, it's like that.
Yeah.
They say rules in aviation are written on people's blood.
Yeah, it's true.
It is a very unfortunate statement. Now, the years we are very lucky for us in the aviation industry now that we've found so many set of rules that have come up because of very many accidents, very many things that went wrong.
Yeah.
Then people sat down and like, let's do these things differently.
Yeah,
So before I start pointing fingers to the companies that are producing these aircrafts, I'll look at the fact that all the rules have been written on people's blood. Mistakes had to be made for people to see, oh my.
Yeah.
Because aviation is such a wide, vast area.
It's true,
Sometimes you will not cover all the loopholes. And some of them you learn by mistake. But I agree with you. Before they are released, lots of tests have to be done.
Yeah,
Like the battery problem. You have to see, what is best and probably do some tests for some time. Now, the sensor problem, that one can happen in any aircraft, especially the Lion Air one, especially if on ground somebody somebody can move a crane up and it just touches that sensor a little bit, and I'm telling you, that's it. It becomes fatal. In aviation, the smallest things matter. I tell when I used to teach, and I still when I teach, I tell students the smallest part of an aircraft is so useful, so important. Never think that it's small, it does not matter.
It's true.
But yes, things should be tested. But unfortunately, some of them will not be seen until something happens. Not only in the aircraft, but how we fly, rules of the air, certain laws that we follow.
Okay.
We learn from them. Like now on the Lion Air crash, Boeing actually came up with some report and sent out new introduction sentences on their manuals for the pilots of the 737, and they had to be taken back to school. It's such a vast. If I went deeper into it, people would
In
not
fact,
understand.
that's a very important angle you've touched on.
Yes.
Going back for proficiency tests.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about 737-300, 737-800, now the MAX, there was a talk about no proficiency needed as much to actually transition to the MAX. Now, is it true that some pilots, or maybe the pilots who are affected, did not go through the proficiency? Because yes, the SOPs are kind of the standard operating procedures, kind of similar, but now the performance, the power, the engines and everything, very different.
In fact,
is it
systems,
possible?
yes.
Systems, actually.
Yes.
Is it possible for someone, for example, you're moving from Grand Caravan to an Embraer? Of course, jet and turbine, those are two different things.
Absolutely.
But
Yes.
is it possible for you to move from 737-800 to MAX without this proficiency test, simulators and everything?
Every time you transition from an aircraft, even if it's in the same line, but there's a difference in system, there's a difference in system or a difference in something very small, you have to undergo training. Now, the difference is how long is the training.
Okay.
For example, if you have to move from a 737 to a 767 or 787, now the training will be longer. This is a totally different aircraft. Now, if you're moving from a 737-300, by the way, they're very outdated, those ones,
Yeah.
and the 400s,
It's true.
all the way up to 700 or 800, and then the max, you have to be retrained.
Yeah,
However, it takes a shorter period
Shut
of
up,
time.
period, yeah, sure.
Now, I remember in the Lion Air crash, when I read the report, Boeing said the pilots mishandled the situation.
Human error. Now, we'll get back to that. Yes, let's continue.
They
yeah.
said that, but the Lion Air CEO said, listen, Boeing, you're not going to put blame on us. In fact, we're cancelling all the orders of the Boeing we've made.
Wow.
About 38 of the aircraft.
Wow.
There's a big back and forth.
Yeah.
So as we speak now, we're not sure if it's a 737 MAX problem or training problem.
Yeah.
But like you said, Nick, there must be training and then a proficiency check when you move from one type
Yeah.
to another,
Yeah.
no matter how small the difference comes in terms of systems.
Interesting. Human error.
Yes.
Sometimes I understand we have also those. I know it's crazy. Actually, at the cabin and front cabin, and sometimes toxic captains. You're a captain. I know you're not toxic, bro. I know you're not toxic.
I
yeah.
hope so.
You're not toxic.
Yeah.
Toxic captains. Sometimes the first officers look like still learning.
Yeah.
They're not given opportunity. You remember even Kenya Airways when we lost the one in Congo.
Yeah.
We had a really, really bad crash just after takeoff also.
Exactly.
And as it is, the report came out that it was a toxic captain who was just in a rush to make it back home.
Yes.
And he was really tough on the first officer to an extent whereby he told the first officer, confirm we're crashing. The first officer confirmed, yes, sir, we're crashing.
Yeah,
How is that, man?
Interestingly, I knew the captain of that aircraft.
Oh, sorry about
and
that.
no worries. And yes, it was reported that he was very, like you say, toxic. And you know what? There's something called cockpit gradient,
Yeah.
whereby if the captain feels is up there and the first officer feels is down here, that's a very steep gradient, and you should not have that. The cockpit gradient should be at least a very small gradient. The captain is somewhere here and the first officer is somewhere there, and the gradient is not that huge.
Okay.
It is important for the crew to have undertaken a course called crew resource management, which is very important. It teaches you how to handle a crew. As a captain, how to handle the whole, not only your first officer, but the whole a set of crew at the back there, the cabin crew, everybody. It's important to learn how to deal with them.
Sure.
It is very wrong to feel that you know and the person you're flying with does not. Now, unfortunately, in the industry, there are captains who feel, oh, I know.
I know.
Listen, you can't tell me anything. You have 300 hours. I got 8,000. What are you going to tell me? You know, and it's very wrong because anytime I sit, even with a student, and the student says something, I listen.
Yeah.
You know, in aviation, if you get complacent,
Yeah.
you have that machoism. Oh my, it is going to end up fatal.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, because you think you know. In aviation, never.
All right.
Things can go wrong, and
Anytime,
you might get to a point where you need to make a critical decision that might need somebody else's view and angle to it.
That's true.
That Douala crash,
That's
the
true.
first officer saw what was happening.
Absolutely.
captain did not.
He saw what was
saw it.
happening. He
He
didn't
saw
talk
it.
about it.
Yeah.
There's some breaking news coming in. China suspends all flights, 737 MAX flights.
Is it?
All those flights. Breaking news actually coming right now. We'll keep you updated on that because this is kind of very interesting because there's no way you can manufacture a killer. That means China, maybe they noticed something also. Before China suspends, that means they've noticed something. So 2 accidents in a span of 6 months.
Unexplained accidents.
Unexplained accidents.
Yeah. Because you see, there's a back and forth. Remember I told you, Lion Air has cancelled all the orders of the aircraft because Boeing said it's a pilot error. It's a human factor. And the Lion Air guys are like, no, we don't think it's human factor. We think there's something wrong with the aircraft. Because if you have a sensor problem, but that sensor was changed, but still it persisted, then there's something wrong with this aircraft. So it's still unexplained.
Something else.
Yes.
787 Dreamliner, successful manufacturing, and of course one of the most high-tech, fuel-efficient planes in the world. And trust me, that's a plane that can be controlled from the headquarters. You know what I mean? When captains and first officers actually, when they sleep, that plane can be controlled. They can see all the procedures actually. It's amazing because now, why don't they just transfer this technology to the 737 MAX or maybe other fleets? Because now, when you see, if you don't touch Dreamliner, if you don't touch it for like, touch something for like the next, I think, 20 minutes, warning signs. just beeping from the cockpit.
Very true.
That's actually a very amazing thing. Now, what's happening, bro?
Now, 787 is a very successful aircraft, yes, and has amazing systems, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, as much as it can be monitored, when things go wrong, Nick, let us all remember, when things go wrong, then the people in the cockpit are the ones who are best able to handle and manage that situation.
Okay.
Now, I don't believe even if they had that system on the 737, there'll be any difference here.
Okay.
Not unless it's it's something that happens abruptly, Nick.
Yeah.
And then, for example, these guys crashed just 3 minutes after takeoff.
Imagine.
They had not climbed so much. And if you look at
altitude wasn't friendly.
Addis's terrain, my
elevation.
God, 3 minutes. Whoa, that's not looking very well.
Yeah.
So it's anytime things go wrong, they've been saying we want aircrafts to fly by themselves. We want to see if we can get rid of pilots. Honestly, you can't.
Okay.
Why? It can fly itself, yeah. By the way, that plane can do something called an auto land, 737 Mark.
Yeah, auto land.
787.
Yeah.
By itself,
Yeah.
in zero visibility when the pilots cannot see.
Intercept the localizer.
By itself, and the pilots are there
and the good
saying,
to know.
yeah, it's happening. And it touches down by itself,
Yeah.
it slows down by itself, and then the pilot takes over to taxi off by,
Wow,
by
amazing.
itself.
Amazing.
That's what it's called, auto land. It can do it. But why are the pilots there? To monitor. What if things go wrong? Airbus used to have a problem. Airbus and Boeing have always had this conflict. They're like, oh, your systems are not as good as ours. Oh, you've put the pilots in command so much. No, Airbus telling Boeing, you put the pilots in command so much that they can override the system. Then Boeing is like, you cannot have systems.
Competition.
Yeah, it's always competition. And by the way, there was a problem because there was one crash of the Airbus because of that system overriding the pilot.
Hold it right there, Captain. Now, we're taking a short break.
okay.
We're coming back.
Yeah.
This conversation is getting very interesting, and trust me, we'll learn a lot from the captain himself. He'll be telling us more about now the situation. Also, we'll be talking about what is happening the other week. That's last week when the workers actually downed their tools. What did they need? Captain will also be telling us more about that. But of course, the inspirational nourishment right here on Morning Live. We'll be back after a short break. Welcome back to Morning Live, and if you're joining us right now, you're talking about the situation that is happening in the world of aviation, and Captain Iain is with me in studio, touching base on what happened. So when we continue this discussion, Captain, there's something called trust. Already, as a brand, Ethiopian Airlines has been affected in so many ways. You remember Kenya Airways was such a detrimental accident as far as revenues and everything are concerned.
Yeah.
But now, when you look at the bigger picture, Ethiopian Airlines has been having these amazing safety records for quite some time. In fact, it's among the best airlines in the world.
Yes.
When you compare them with the likes of Qatar, Emirates, even like the likes of KLM, wow, Ethiopian has been doing marvelous jobs. When you talk about the marketing angle, the commercial angle, what do you think about it now?
Ethiopian Airlines, I will tell you this, is way better, way ahead in terms of aviation than Kenya. And yes, it's not competing with us. It's not competing with South African Airways. It's competing with the world out there.
The world, yeah, sure.
They have over 100 aircrafts.
Wow.
They have different range, both Boeing and Airbus. By the way, for regional flights, they have smaller aircrafts that can carry 80
the Grand Caravans also.
Yes, and they have Dash 8 Q400s as well.
Sure.
It's very amazing how they have managed to, if you go to Ethiopia and look at the infrastructure, you'll be like, come on. You go to the aviation sector, you're like, whoa. They've really invested so much in the aviation. And to the point that, they were not actually thinking about profits. They were thinking about making a name, something I always preach.
They were expanding the airport.
Yeah. Making a name, their airport is amazing, has 2 runways. In fact, 2 strips. So
left, right.
Left and right. Meaning, you can, if there's a wind change, we call that, now it can have 4 runways because it's 2 strips.
Yes.
Now, they have invested so much. And then their safety record has been A. Very nice, amazing aircrafts. Oh, by the way, their pilot training, over the top.
Okay. No
By the way,
wonder our 787 pilots from Kenya Airways go to train in Ethiopia.
That's it.
They are only ones actually in the region who
Yeah.
have the 787 simulator.
Simulate, exactly. And they go to do their currencies there. They go to do their training there.
Wow.
Their safety record is not something to joke with. And that's why, I can question and say, I don't think it will be feasible or something to say that the pilots are not well trained. No, they are extremely well trained.
Okay.
So in terms of market purposes, still Ethiopian Airways is very safe.
Okay.
But you can see what airlines are doing now. Already the breaking news is showing us it's not a problem with the company.
Yeah.
It's a problem
With
with
the manufacturer.
the
actually.
manufacturer.
Yeah, it's true that.
So I will continue believing. In fact, I fly with Ethiopian Airlines a lot as a passenger, and I won't stop. I will continue flying with them because things can happen anyway. Yeah. So in terms of the commercial sector, I still have faith in Ethiopian Airlines. Actually.
Okay.
Now someone might say, "Hey, Ian, why are you talking like that? We have Kenya Airways." Oh yeah, Kenya Airways is great, but it needs to be well managed.
Yeah.
It needs to be well managed.
We get into that now.
Yeah.
Get into that now.
And by the way, not to throw Kenya Airways under the bus. By the way, Kenya Airways pilots are one of the best trained as well in the world.
Absolutely.
That I cannot.
One of
I
the
cannot-
best trained in the world.
I'm telling
I know that.
Yes. It's only that we need to get good management.
Yes.
To actually run the company well.
Have-
I'm sure we'll talk about the unrest the other day.
and by the way, there's some sense of also kind of insecurity among so many passengers right now,
Yes.
even coming to connect through Kenya. They're afraid maybe so many people now are not using actually Nairobi. The past 1 week after the strike,
Yes.
trust me, the numbers have dwindled, international numbers, because now guys were the word is out there that Kenya Airways, actually JKIA, is not operating at 100%.
Exactly.
When you hear statements like you need to come, if international flights, you need to come 4 hours before your departure.
Yeah.
Local flights are coming 2 hours, I think 3 hours before your departure. It's something crazy.
Yeah.
Now, let's come back home and talk about this unrest, because that was catastrophic. Trust me, no one was able to take off or land. Yeah.
Nick, I said this last time. I remember I said on this very chair that one of the greatest tests of a leader or of leadership is to realize a problem before it becomes an emergency.
Yeah.
I say that here and I repeat that.
Yeah.
One of the greatest tests and one of the greatest things about a leader is to realize a problem before it becomes an emergency. Now, second thing that was a big failure, and it has always been a failure with our government, unfortunately. Communication. Now, it's been rumored that Kenya Airways wants to take over Jomo Kenyatta. And there's been already talks about Kenya Airways taking over Jomo Kenyatta. Kenya Airports Authorities is a separate entity which has been doing extremely well, by the way, running all our airports. Obviously, with its problems here and there, which I'm sure can be fixed. But all the employees at Jomo, those who do customs and immigrations, those who do security checks, those who do ground operations of aircrafts, have always been Kenya Airports Authorities, working under that parastatal. Now, when Kenya says they're going to take over the airport, that means the staff members there are either going to go home or they're going to be absorbed by Kenya Airways and are not going to enjoy the benefits they've been enjoying with Kenya Airports Authorities. Now, when you are in the process of doing such a great move or such a big move, I think it was best for Kenya Airways to actually sit with Kenya Airports Authorities and discuss and say, listen, we are thinking about it. What do you think? And then the staff, are some representatives because there was the CAO, Kenya Airports Workers Union, which KA is under. Actually, I think most of them are Kenya Airports Authorities workers.
Sure.
Now, they should have sat with them and said, listen, what do you think? But because of this, sometimes you just want to, the machoism attitude I talked to you about, listen, we're going to do it. Obviously, in Kenya, we've known. If things are going to be done by dictatorship, there'll always be unrest. So the emergency was not seen. No, they saw it coming, but they decided, okay, we're going to wait for it. And then when the unrest comes, now it's going to say, oh, this is very, it's not right. People are going against the law. Listen, I think it's important as leaders, cabinet secretaries, and all the people involved to be in a direct communication with the relevant people before making moves or before saying they're going to do something. Yes, he made it very. The CS made it very clear that listen, we are still in talks, but he made it clear already when the arrests were happening that clarity should have been made way before the unrest.
Yeah, sure.
So not that I support the unrest, but to me it was a ticking time bomb. Because you can't say, listen,
They saw it coming, actually.
It was coming. I'm going to take over an airport. Who's going to pay the staff?
Yeah.
Kenya Airports, Kenya Airways? Okay. What happens to the Kenya Airports Authority staff who are there? Will they go home?
In defense to that, they said that they just want smooth operations of the airport.
Yeah.
Is it that now we have no smooth operation at the airport?
That was a very wrong statement. That was a very wrong statement.
Yeah.
How would you say you want smooth operation? Exactly. You know, it's like right now we don't have very smooth operation. We operate Stropicare out of Jomo Kenyatta a lot. Everything is fantastic. Everything is great. So they might need to give other reasons why they want Jomo Jomo Kenyatta International Airport under their own umbrella. They need to give us a better reason because it's running smoothly. It's not that it's not running smoothly, but it's very wrong to say Kenya Airports authorities are not doing their job well. Meaning then all our airports are in trouble, not only Jomo. Then they should take over all of them.
Absolutely. Now, as we wind this conversation up, Captain, there's a problem with unemployment statistics among the youth in this country. And trust me, suicidal thoughts, depression is very common now. And we are seeing also, you know, we have 2018-19. Now, the 2018 statistics came out, and trust me, it's not funny. As much as our government is being pointed fingers at for maybe the scandals, dam issues, corruption and everything, it's now become a norm in this country that indeed we are going through some very difficult moments. But as it is right now, the youth are suffering. Trust me, appointments and reappointments, the same people, the same familiar faces just being shuffled within these leadership positions. But we have a problem. Our youth are really suffering. Solutions, bro. Solutions now here.
I will always insist that I will never be part of the problem. I'll always be part of the solution. And that's why I do motivational speaking. And I do it as a young person. Yes, in Kenya there's a lack of mentorship, lack of guidance. The people who make it forget those people who are down there. The people who make it are the wazers, the people who've already gone and their ages are up there, but they don't want to pull people up. And the greatest leadership quality is being able to mentor people to be able to take over after you've gone. I feel very sad when I see appointments of people and the statement comes out and very clearly, very apparent that the young people will always be thieves, which is not necessarily so. If you put the right people there, then it's going to happen that the job is going to be done. Just get the right people in. Yes, depression and suicidal thoughts have been high, and it continues. I was talking to a person from the United States the other day, and she actually told me that in the United States, that number is very high, more than any other country, actually. And I was shocked. I did not know that. And in Kenya, it's on a rise. Why? Because there's lack of opportunities, job opportunities. There's lack of self-realization. There's lack of self-actualization. As a young person, let me tell you, when you have the will to win, when you have the will to achieve something, you've actually achieved 50% of your success.
The willingness
Just the willingness to achieve. But there's a problem. The people, or the young people right now, cannot even have that willpower. Why? They feel that there is no opportunity for them. They feel that they're in the wrong place. They feel that they are a mistake, which is very wrong. As a young person, you're not a mistake. There's a reason you are there, a purpose that was put in you. But that will not make sense when you have suicidal thoughts. For those going through depression and thinking about committing suicide, I can tell you this. Always tell yourself, let me just do it for today. And see how tomorrow goes. When tomorrow comes, say, let me just struggle for today and see how tomorrow goes. Keep telling yourself that, and I'm telling you, a breakthrough is going to come. Because the fact that you're telling yourself, let me just have one more day, is already the willingness to win.
It's true that.
Is already the willingness to succeed. Tell yourself, I just need one more day. It is not that we people who are thought to have succeeded people who have made, people think we've made it and all that. It is not that we do not also go through issues that make us, give us depression, by the way. It is how we manage our problems that actually determines whether you're going to fall into depression or maybe suicide later. It is not problems really that put us into such states.
Absolutely.
It is the management of the problems.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ian. And of course, I was forgetting. Congratulations. Now, Chief Pilot.
I am Chief Pilot, yes.
Wow, Tropic Air. Of course, I'll be flying with you on Friday.
Yes.
I'll see you soon.
No, sure.
Of course, and I really appreciate your sentiments. Thank you so much for your professional insights on this Ethiopian Airlines issue. And of course, thank you so much on what we've touched about now, the Kenya aviation workers issue.
Absolutely.
And trust me, this is home, man.
I tell you.
Very soon, see you soon. But of course, on Friday, I'll be with you, man.
For sure.
All right.